everybody, good to see you again. So today I want to talk about the moon square to Mars in a composite chart. So the moon is the shared feelings, the emotional responses of a couple. And Mars is the instantaneous reactions we have to things, the spontaneous way that we will use our passion or our energy or our anger. And so when we have the moon in a square to Mars in a composite chart, we have two people that are not going to be in the same mood at the same time or in the same mood for the same thing at the same time. There's not a lot of instances in which we will have the same kind of emotional response to something. So shared experiences of feeling are very rare when we have this particular square. Now, we can have other things going on that can be mitigating factors. This can be involved in a complex of aspects that provide a lot of outlet for this tension. If this exists on its own and we have one or two fairly aggressive or aggressive personalities, then this can really produce some serious fighting and some tension between two people. So you want to look at the natal charts to see what are the what's the potential that's really likely going to happen when this occurs in a composite chart. But generally, this is an aspect that can lead to some clashes because we don't feel the same thing we don't feel the same way about the same thing at the same time. And so that can be very, very irritating because it feels like the other person is just not responding the way that we think that they should. They don't have the kind of emotional reaction that to us is going to make sense. And so we're both looking at each other like, why do you have to be such a stupid dumbass? Why can't you just react to things in a way that, I approve of or that makes sense to me? It's like every time you have a reaction or a feeling about something is different than I think it should be. So we argue a lot about that factor in the relationship, that we don't have the same emotional opinion about most things. So we can, say, have a couple who has this particular square, and they'll be walking along, and you say a giraffe crosses the road, and this was totally unexpected. So they're going to have a different way of feeling about that and reacting to that, and then the other one is going to feel like, well, that was a really dumb way to feel about it. I wouldn't be sorry for the giraffe. I would be more worried about the state of the city. And so we're going to have very different spontaneous ways of processing things that come up moment to moment in our lives. And it can also be very irritating to be in a certain mood for something and then the other person is not. And so that can lead to some fighting about sex and about the sex life as well. This can bring a lot of tension into things because we can have one that's ready and the other one's not. And it can lead to some anger. So this is a very passionate aspect to have in a composite chart. We are going to challenge each other as well. But there is a lot of feelings that are aroused by each other's death. There's definitely not going to be any apathy that is involved here. But it is an aspect that can be a stick of dynamite in a relationship that already has some things that are very tense or confrontational. So when you see this aspect, you want to look at it in mind with all of the other aspects and see if this is this kind of an outlier. Is it a wider orb between Moon and Mars? Is it connected to easy aspects? And if so, it's going to be an easier time. But if this is contained in a sort of a pattern of aspects that are already, or included, included in a pattern of aspects that are already tense, or where we have some ego issues, and then we throw the Moon and Mars into there, then we can really see this as a lively stick of dynamite that comes in to some conflicts that are already there. And then we also have this inability to have, any kind of shared feelings about anything. So it can make it extremely difficult to agree on most things when we have this particular square. And if we have some ego conflicts in there as well, or maybe we have some aspects from Sun to Mars or Pluto, or even hard aspects from Sun to Uranus, then this is something that is going to exacerbate those issues. Because in relationships, the majority of our attention typically goes to what's wrong or what's difficult. And this can draw a lot of our focus and our attention to it because of how it feels like the other person is sort of almost working against us when it comes to our ability to be comfortable or happy, or have them be able to respond to us in a way in the moment that really makes sense to us. So look at it in with all the other aspects in mind when you see this. Look at the natal charts and call me. So I hope that was helpful. If it was, please subscribe to my channel. You can find me on the internet at truthinaspectastrology.com, Facebook, Instagram, other social media at Truth in Aspect Astrology. Yes, I do private consultation. And I mainly am a relationship and intimacy astrologer, but I interpret all types of charts. And I'll leave a link at the bottom of the video to Hannah Stone. She makes a lot of the tops and the astrology wear that I wear, and I've gotten a lot of comments and questions about where I get the stuff that I get, and a lot of it comes from her website. So check her out, and if you click the link below, you'll get free shipping. And I'll be back super soon with more super cool videos.